Buenos dias and bienvenidos. I'm super excited to have you guys here. If this is your first time joining the podcast, welcome, welcome. We cover all things tech and all things tequila, and not always in that order, but well worth your time to listen.
Welcome, welcome, and bienvenidos. Thank you for joining us on the podcast, Tech and Tequila. If you don't know who I am, I'm Kat Lopez Shelby, and I'm the founder and CEO of Shelby Technology Solutions. But more importantly, you're here for Tech and Tequila, where we learn a lot about tech, and we may have some nice tequila drinks while we're at it. If you're new here, Tech and Tequila is all about everything technology-based for your business. So what that means is we have suppliers on here to talk about how they can help you grow your business. We, have mindset coaches on here talking about how to help you grow your business. We're all about business and basically introducing you to different suppliers and different ways that help you within your business.
I am super pumped and excited and blessed because we have a repeat guest today, and that is Miss Maddie with Broadvoice. So welcome, Miss Maddie. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me. Excited to be back.
I am so excited because, we are in the holiday season and we are kicking off everything from Black Friday to Cyber Monday to Thanksgiving to the night before Christmas. So whether you choose to shop way ahead of time all year long, or you're waiting for Mary's water to break, I feel like Broadvoice has a gift to help you as a business owner. So I love it.
Absolutely.
Yes. Without further ado, let's just kind of get into it. I wanted to take a little time to just, talk about Broadvoice, because if you haven't heard about them, I kind of feel like you might have been living under a rock, but you guys have been a major player in the cloud communication space for a while. What do you feel differentiates you guys from other DCAS providers?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've been around since 2006, like you said, right? So we're not new to this space. And I think one of the things that makes us really different is for a long time, we had obviously our big focus was on, the phones themselves, the phone system and all of that. And as we've grown as the times, right, I got into that UCAS, and we're even getting into that CCAS space as well now, into the CX range. And we did that in a way that I think really is different because we started with a foundation. Our leaders are still the creators of the company. We have a really hands-on approach and a white glove service for everything from implementation through support, in addition to our sales. So while we are growing and adding on these great new products that keep us relevant in the space, we haven't lost who we are and the way that we treat our clients and our partners. And I think that's a big thing is, no matter big or small, we love you all. And we want to continue that as we grow, in addition to just having top-notch, products and solutions as well.
Well, no, and I was going to say, my personal experience with Broadvoice for my clients has been excellent because just recently I had a client call me and I wasn't on site, and she's like, I don't know what's going on, but whenever anyone calls, my phone's just automatically answered. So I'm going to be very transparent. I give her the IT, did you unplug it and plug it back in? And needless to say, that did not fix it. And where I'm going with this story is what I liked was I was able to get on the phone with Broadvoice customer service and not get transferred 19 times. We won't speak ill of other companies, but there are some where we get transferred nonstop. And we were able to get everything fixed and everything taken care of within an hour of her letting me know this was an issue and, to getting everything fixed. And you guys followed up twice after that with me to make sure it was taken care of. So
we absolutely, and we try to be really transparent as well, right? So there's not all those hoops to jump through and layers to get to where you need to go. You have our escalation list, right? You're able to just contact whoever you need in order to get that help for your client, in addition to using myself and my team as resources too. So we really try to make sure it's as easy as possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I like that you talk about you guys started as more of let's just say in the on-prem phone system space. And now, of course, with all the changes, where I like to say there's still prem phone system huggers, so to speak, kind of like a server hugger. But you guys have a platform called Beehive, and that integrates calling, video, texting. Can you share some real world examples and how that has, like, having all of that in one space has helped transform some clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a woman a couple weeks ago, and she was just saying how today they're using Teams for everything, chat and meeting based. But then if they want to make a call, it's not integrated. So they have to go to a separate platform in order to be making those calls. And then, it's really kludgy to try to get, if they're using a hard phone on their desk. And so with the solution we have, it allows them to be able to have everything all in one screen in one place, easily accessible, easy to use and nice to look at. And I mean, you're saving space on your, the desktop or whatever you may be using so that you can have multiple, things going on, and not be having to juggle screens and all of that stuff. On top of the amount of time it just saves our clients, if you're working and, employee satisfaction is a huge thing right now. And so we want not just our customers to be satisfied, but also our internal customers, right, which are our employees. So making sure that everything works for them and that they have ease of use is a huge piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the adage that a solution that seemingly is amazing, but isn't implemented and people don't use is basically worthless. Whereas something that people are going to use is so much better. And I think, I'm not going to say I think, I know from my personal experience working with Broadvoice that you guys, from your training to implementation, are top notch about working with clients to help with that. So absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really, like I said, that's, I think, our biggest differentiator, because as while we do have obviously incredible products, I think the people are what really matter the most.
Absolutely. I know that we can't really, we can't look at a crystal ball and see the future, because if we looked like 2 years ago, know what to expect the blow up of AI. But what trends do you see happening in like unified communications, in customer experience, and in CX going forward from here?
Yeah, I think that CX is becoming such a much bigger thing, and that's kind of just a buzzword, honestly, right? We all say things like that, but I think the big thing that I've noticed is really companies of all shapes and sizes really do need more of that CX, that product suite, if you will, because where before it was people thought contact center, I'm sitting in a brick and mortar, taking calls, answering calls, et cetera. That's kind of gone, and even I have a deal we worked a couple months ago. It's a sod company, like the grass. And so he was finding that he was having trouble because everyone was so busy during, March, April timeframe, that they, were missing calls and not able to get people on the schedule and things like that. So he was able to implement some of our CCAS product along with workforce management, so we can have those people scheduled automatically. He was able to, get a solution that helped them answer their calls, some of the advanced analytics, right? So we can see everything now instead of just using even, a phone. And frankly, people use cell phones still, right? Their personal lines. And so having the ability to see all of those things, and help that dictate how you do your business and how to grow, is a huge piece that I've seen a lot of, like I said, companies of all sizes are now needing this as well, not just the big dogs.
With the changes, like going from on-prem to going here, a lot of people get, I don't want to say hesitant, but we're humans and they don't like change, and they get concerned, like, what is this going to look like? What does implementation look like? How do you guys help any businesses that may face challenges when migrating to, Broadvoice, to a cloud-based system from on-prem or just from another system? Like, what do you guys do to ease that transition?
Yeah, so during the implementation process, right? So I guess from the time you work with me and my team and we get you all signed up and make sure you've got the product suite that you are going to need and that's going to help benefit you. From there, we do a warm handoff where you're meeting your installation team. All the notes have been taken. They're all processed. Our engineers are making sure that next team has all of the info they need in order to get it installed correctly. And then they're going to take all of that and they're going to stay with you for 90 days. So it's not just, hey, we got it plugged in, have fun, goodbye, right? So they're actually going in and sitting down with them and saying, okay, how is this working for you today? Do we need to make any changes to the way your, auto attendant works or, whatever it may be, right? So all of those little changes and, the little moves that you need to do at the beginning to get it set up the way that makes the most sense for you. We're there through that process to really help make sure it goes as, perfectly smooth and that everyone's satisfied with what they're getting.
Well, and I think I'll use the term hand-holding. It's like the fact that you get that team for 90 days and it's not like, all right, we're installed, we're out, peace, good luck, makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And as well as I would say the once you sign your contract or you get started, it's the process of really uncovering, like, this is how my phone works now. Mm-hmm. I want it to work similar. And if not similar, let's figure out how to make sure it's working exactly like it's supposed to for us,
Absolutely. Yeah. And that starts as early as the sales cycle too, right? We're going to sit down and have those conversations and say, what are you doing today? Is that working, right? Are there changes that we can make in order to make your system more efficient for you? Or, just whatever it may be. And so we're having those conversations early so that by the time we get to where you're actually going through that implementation, we're not having to backtrack and rework design, all of that stuff. We want it to really go off without a hitch and just kind of, have you ready and easy to go as soon as we get those numbers ported or whatever it may be and off and running, right?
Exactly. And I mean, not that I have personally experienced this with you all, but I know, I was trying to think like the last implementation I did with Broadvoice, it was like, I think we had some issues with like the fax number, but mm-hmm. going in, we already knew like, hey, this is going to be stalled. Do you want to wait? Do you want to move forward? Mm-hmm. And they're like, nope, that's, the fax is important. We want it moved over, but it's not going to stop us from moving everything else because we're ready to head that direction.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, you can just go do and that's another perk of working with us is we can do a kind of a rolled, phased out approach if that's what makes the most sense, right? If we're having trouble getting a certain number ported or, maybe one building is, you're changing one location or, anything like that, right? We can start the project and just do what we're ready to do today. We're not going to hold you back and, make it any more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah. No, and I think that's huge. Now, I know when businesses in this day and age and for the last year and even going forward, I don't think this is ever going to change. They look at making a decision to move forward. Where do you feel like Broadvoice really helps to impact like that business's ROI? And I know it'll kind of be different depending on what vertical you're in, but where do you see it really helping people?
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, every business needs a phone system, right? You have to be able to communicate internally and with your client base or, whatever vertical, but with your people. And so having that work reliably is a key piece of, having that business stay afloat. And so we also do offer 100% SLA. So if you have any outages, we're going to give you back the money for the time that you lost. So I think that's a big piece that we obviously hang our hat on, making sure we're doing this and getting you a good product. But beyond that, it's making sure it works correctly is a big piece. And then getting into that CX suite again, anytime you're able to improve both your employee satisfaction, your customer satisfaction, we're really looking at the client for us, is the companies we're selling to, but we want to make sure they have a good experience, but also their clients do as well, right? It's the gift that keeps on giving. It just trickles down until everyone's having a good time because, being able to meet customers where they want to be met, having different channels within your, whether that be chat bots, using some AI in order to keep lines, short, make sure there's not hold up, being able to do email and phone call, et cetera, right? Having all of those options really just allows you to be able to handle more interaction. And I think that kind of ties back into as well some of the fear, because I know a lot of people say, well, no, we want them to talk to a human every time. That's how we've always done it. This is great. And that we're not trying to take that away, because we definitely want to make sure you're having that, that experience. But sometimes allowing some, an AI bot to just help filter through, certain calls about bank balances or, how do I reset my password, things of that nature, that doesn't need to be handled by a human. And we can really make everyone happy by being able to get that problem solved the most quick and efficient.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing, is that utilizing Broadvoice to, per se, like I always use the example, my mom's 80 and she wants to talk to a human. It doesn't matter what it is. But like myself, not that I don't want to talk to humans, but if it is something as simple as like a bank balance or resetting my password, I just want to be able to log on to chat, figure that out, or log on to an app. And I think that with Broadvoice's, CCaaS, communications as a service, and they're improving that customer experience is really where that in lies. And I like that you keep talking about, it's not just about your external customers, it's about your internal clients as well, especially when you look at, we have so many people in the remote workforce now. It's how do you stay in contact and make sure things are moving forward? So.
Right, absolutely. And it's a big deal the other piece I'll hit on is, like we've kind of talked about, is we have that full suite within our umbrella. So you're not having to use different platforms and try to find things. We can do everything from that phone system through that contact center piece and the AI and all of that good stuff. We're going to make sure that works for you. And you don't, because having, multiple systems, again, just you're losing data, things are having to communicate. It's just not as clean. It's not as easy. And so I think that's a big thing that we can do to help it as well, is just, again, keep it simple. Let's make it as easy and as easy as possible on all fronts.
Yeah. And I think that's huge, because if you're an internal employee and you're having to open up, like you were talking about with like the Teams, and then going over here and, you're opening up 4 or 5 screens, that's a lot to keep on your desktop or your laptop. So that's huge.
It is. Yeah. Everyone's got 6 screens going all the time now. I'm like, we can get you down to 1 or 2.
Exactly. As we look to the future, let's say, 3 to 5 years, where do you see Broadvoice putting its effort into like expansion, or, what kind of technologies do you feel that they're really going to put, R&D behind or looking forward?
Yeah. And so, obviously we can't predict the future, and I think that we'll always try to stay up with, what is necessary in the market, because we do want to make sure that our clients have the latest and greatest and best. But I know for 2025 and beyond, the goal really is to push to improve that CCaaS product, as and the AI, and make sure we have all of those bells and whistles, and that we can truly give the best product to our clients and allow them to be able to do all of their moves if they want to, or just whatever they need. We want to have that ability to give that to them, and so that's, I think, where we're really going to be spending a lot of the time. And that through our own R&D and through strategic partnerships as well, in order to obtain that. And I think even as of now, I think, like you said, the AI boom is huge. And so making sure that we have that product and that our clients know about it, and we can get them using that and help them with that. Just, like I said, improving efficiency and keeping those wait times down, keeping everyone happy, right? That's, if we can make sure all our clients are using that and know how to do it, then I think that's a huge piece.
Yeah. Well, and I think, not per se to backtrack too much, but one of the things, if you are somebody looking at making this migration or making this change, what are some things that you would recommend for them to think about, like to get ready to, decide, is this a solution for me? Or, what kind of things do you really feel are important to look at?
Yeah, I think you got to start the basics of, do I like my solution today? What do I need? What do my competitors have that is helping them, get more traction or get more attention, whatever that may be. And then, especially if there is a lot of external communication with clients, I think it's important to look at what that looks like, right? So go to your own website, call your own numbers, see how that process works, because that way you know what you need in order to improve. And then you can go to whether it's Broadvoice or anyone else in this space, and you can say, I know I need these things because this is what I need in order to, improve all of that. So I think that's a good place, is kind of just going about it that way, making, being the customer yourself. And then also polling your employees, especially if they are people who are on phones a lot and doing all things, what annoys them every day, right? Ask if there's people who are constantly answering the phones, what are the problems they're having with the system, and what are things that they can think of that would be better? And that, again, then when you come to us, we're having a conversation, we can show you those things, explain exactly what it would all look like. And that really helps, just make sure you're getting the most out of what you're looking for. Because a lot of the products they're bright and shiny when you're looking at them, right? It's all special and fun, and but you want to make sure you're getting exactly what it is that is going to help your business.
Yeah, and I think I swear, if someone played a drinking game, for how many times I can say you hit the nail on the head, I think by the end of one season, they would be well lit, possibly maybe on the floor. But I really think that hits the nail on the head, is having an understanding of what and how your phone system works right now. And, obviously you want to pick up the phone and be able to answer, but also, what does that customer experience look like? If a customer goes to your website, how easy for them to get information, to call you and look at those things. And that's a great way to start that.
And that's also why, right, we always love working with partners like you, because you help working with them through that journey makes our job a lot easier, because you do this day in and day out, exactly what questions we need answered in order to get things going. And so I always think it's great to work with a partner as well.
Yes. Now your check will be in the mail. But that leads into my next question. And one of the things is, within the channel community, if someone really wants to work more with Broadvoice and work with yourself, Maddie, what is the best way for them to move forward in that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I am going to be your point of contact besides your partner that you're working with. So, obviously reach out to them. They can get in contact with me. I'm always available for them if we can need anything, I'm there. But yeah, so I would work through, the partner that they're working with, which hopefully obviously is you. And then we would go through and just set up a call, make sure that the client knows, again, what their phone system is today, what we can do to update that and get it, whatever pain points they're having, et cetera. We'll talk through that. Then we can set up a demo, go through and let them see the product, actually kind of get that feeling of what it would be like to be in it day to day. And then from there, we just kind of, walk through that process and hopefully answer any questions they have. Just keep on trying to get to the root of what they need best.
No, and I love that. So kind of I'd say end on the note that I like everyone to end on. If there's 3 things that you feel like Broadvoice does way better than anybody else or differentiates you guys, what would that be?
I think the first one I'll say is, again, our support, and just being able to feel like you actually have people who care and will answer the phone, and it's simple, and we will give you the support you need, I think is a huge one. I think too, the way that we are set up for everything from our leadership, like I said, we're the founders of the company, and they're still very involved and willing to take feedback and, be a part of deals and things of that nature. And so I think that's a huge differentiator, because a lot of times you just don't get that kind of hands-on approach that we're going to be able to give. And then just that we're really in growth mode, right? So we are we're growing rapidly. We were able to add on these new products, right? And we're just really trying to make sure that we're hitting the mark across the board. And so, you can trust us, we're reliable, and we really want to be easy to work with you.
Yeah, I love that. And this will be as unsmooth a transition as physically possible, because, that kind of leads into the tequila that I wanted to point out today, which is Los Feet. If you haven't ever heard of that, that's what it looks like right here. And what it is it is actually It's a margarita, a pre-mixed drink already in a bottle, right? But elevated, because I don't know if it's glass, number one, it's a little, well, more suave than you've seen before. But I wanted to cover a few things about it. And of course, I would not be talking about it if it wasn't, it is free of artificial dyes, artificial flavors. It's 100% bespoke tequila treble sec. It has organic lime in it, and it's crafted with Blue Weber tequila. For those out there who, like myself, love Criminal Minds, just in case you're curious, Aisha Tyler is one of the co-founders of this product. And she's a huge enthusiast of cocktail drinks, and it was co-founded with a former bartender, James Kim, and their mission was to elevate the ready-to-drink cocktail by focusing on quality without compromise. And so the big thing is, it is a premium cocktail. It's no hassle. You don't have to prepare anything. You don't have to mix anything. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I have, having to go from one store to another store to get whatever it said to use for that drink. They also have a commitment to excellence. They do lots of quality checking to ensure that the tequila used is wonderful. And let me make sure that I didn't miss anything. But that's it. So, at your next holiday party, pick up a bottle of Losafi and definitely give it a try. We'll have to try it soon, Miss Maddie. But I wanted to thank you so much for joining me today, because it's always great to have you on. I love having returning guests. And obviously, I would not bring you back on, except that I'm a huge fan of Broadvoice. I think you guys do amazing work, and you have a great team behind you. So thank you.
Well, thanks so much. I'm so excited to be on here, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of Tech and Tequila. I hope you enjoyed our conversation today. To stay updated about all things tech and more, don't forget to visit us at our website, shelbyts.com. If you loved what you heard, remember to show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our podcast. Your 5-star ratings and reviews mean the world to us and help us to reach more listeners just like you. So muchas gracias again for joining us with Tech and Tequila. Thank you so much. You learned a lot about tech, and maybe you had a nice drink of tequila.